So this is episode 55. We are an independent publishing outfit located in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And today I'm going to be reading to you from, sorry, my hair's a little crazy today, from Lee Maracle's book of essays, Memory Serves. Let me get the cover up for you. It's kind of a beautiful cover, I think. Sorry, I ran out of print books in my house, so I've been using what I've got for ebooks. So, yeah. There. This is a painting by Susan Point that we bought the rights to for the cover, and I'm fairly fond of it. This is a really special book. It's a collection of oratories by Lee Maracle, who's a Stolo scholar from Vancouver, and it's kind of transcriptions of speeches and other sort of live oratories that she's performed. And what her and the editor tried to do was keep the characteristic Stolo linguistic style going in print. So it has a different sort of feeling than you would get from a lot of essay collections. I'll try and do my best with reading from it, but it's one of those situations where, again, you don't need a white guy reading out what it's supposed to sound like. So imagine, someone else reading this. An Indigenous person, obviously. So here's the back of copy. Memory Serves gathers together the oratories that award-winning author Lee Maracle has delivered and performed over a 20-year period. Revised for publication, the lectures hold the feature and styles of oratory intrinsic to the Salish people in general and the Stolo in particular. From her Coast Salish perspective and with great eloquence, Maracle shares her knowledge of Stolo history, memory, philosophy, law, spirituality, feminism, and the colonial condition of her people. Powerful and inspiring, Memory Serves is an extremely timely book, not only because it is the first collection of oratories by one of the most important Indigenous authors in Canada, but also because it offers all Canadians, in Maracle's own words, another way to think, to be, to think, to know, and a way that holds the promise of a journey towards a common consciousness. So Brian Lynch at the Georgia Straits said, at this fertile moment for change in the relationship between Canada's Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples, Lee Maracle's new collection of oratories takes on even greater significance. Alexis Kylan at Quill Inquirer said, the topics she covers, the approaches she employs, and the strength of her language highlight the reasons the author has been a driving force in Canadian Aboriginal culture for decades. Memory Serves adds to the vital canon of Canadian Aboriginal literature. Alicia Elliott in Vice said it was inspired, and Manjeet Burke in Horizons said, Memory Serves as a gift to all Canadians. I urge you to unwrap it slowly and get ready for something unlike anything else. Christine Smith at Rabble.ca says, Memory Serves is one of Maracle's greatest books. It is a read that imparts wisdom from a great writer, and it will leave you empowered. It will leave you feeling empowered, knowing that the wisdom of Maracle's words are being shared with you. And I can honestly say, this is no bullshit. This is an essay collection that has legitimately changed the way I think about certain things, especially ecological issues. As part of the sample I have here, I don't actually have the essay. Oh, let me see. Yeah, I just have the first essay. But the essay called Salmon is the hub of Salish memory, I think about all the time because it's positing that on September 11th, 2011, obviously, large loss of life in the United States and starting to kick off the war on terror, which characterized much of the millennium so far. But on that same day, there was a gigantic die-off of salmon in British Columbia. And really, when it comes right down to it, this is potentially the Earth telling us that there's a larger problem than, the humans killing each other for political beliefs. There's something drastic happening with regards to the environment, and which was the more important news story that day in the general scheme of things. I don't know, but she makes a very compelling argument that potentially it was the Earth and not politics and loss of life for humans. That was the big thing that day. So that's a really important and engaging piece. But I'm going to read from you from the first essay in the collection, Memory Serves. So Imagine that this is coming from Lee Maracle, speaking in the inimitable by me, still low speaking style. Memory serves. It is directed by condition, culture, and objective. It is conjured by systemic practice. It is shaped by results. By the time humans are 7 years old, the commitment to remember is shaped, and they remember from the point of view of their social milieu. In a society which relies on the trial process, memory serves as evidence, as objective proof based on facts. Evidence and facts are collected with the intent to prove some hypothesis or thesis. This proof then becomes the basis for judgment, decision, or action. This is a simple system that fails to count humans as variable, as spirited, creative, and emotional beings. It is a system that fails to account for catastrophe, social and personal trauma, and how humans fall off track. In a society which is hierarchical, held up by armies, police, punitive deterrence, and authoritarian-based respectability, the human as variable does not need to be considered. What needs to be known to humans before a decision is made is who has the authority to make it, what the law or policy governing the decision is, what the place of the author in the decision-making ladder is, and what the parameters of the author's decision-making authority are. People are expected to obey the decision or be punished for their disobedience. The proof then returns full circle as the basis for conviction or alienation of the dissident. Memory does not exist for any other social purpose. Facts are defined as objective memory. The rememberers strive to record evidence and achieve objectivity. Recorded objective memory is embraced as the only valid memory. The realm of spiritual intent, creative motive, or human emotion is relegated to subjectivity and persuasion, the art of engaging others in dialogue. Embracing their emotional, spiritual, and intellectual sensibility has no place. Each witness becomes part of the argument between defense and prosecution. Justice is not a consideration. What happened, the activities of the humans, the facts surrounding the case and the law, all that is all that is considered. When humans give breath to life, give voice to their perception of life, this is a sacred act. They are taking an event that has already been committed, and they are remembering or reconstructing it in their minds. Memory serves. In a society governed first and foremost by spirit-to-spirit relationships to all beings, memory serves much differently than in a society in which property possession determines importance. To remember is first directional. Indigenous people commit to memory those events and the aspect of those events that suit the direction we're moving in, or the direction we want to move in if a shift is occurring. I choose to remember what happens to Sockeye because that is the direction from which Salish people move. We remember events. We reconstruct them because we are aware that they have already ended, are dismembered, gone forever, and because they affect us and are directly connected to who we are as a people. We may wish to achieve a new direction, secure an old direction, or mark the path traveled so that others may find the path easier to follow. Our memories serve the foregoing. Who or what is important does not figure into it. This is what governs our lives and shapes our oracy. Memory is also the governor of native literacy. Creative nonfiction is bound by the original foundations handed to us by ancestors, ceremony, laws, and our relationship to creation. We place our obligations before us when we remember. To what end do I wish to recreate this moment? What direction do I wish this memory to travel in the future? In so doing, we hang on to memories of those things that assist us in conjuring and traveling in the direction charted by the culture that has shaped us. We let go of those things that will impair our journey or thwart the courage required to secure our path. We determine the direction we believe we wish to travel before we speak or make a truckload of decisions. The direction we are traveling shapes our memories whether we are conscious of this or not. Our intent governs our choice of words and recalling events. The winds are our uncles. Our cultures name them and define their relationship to us. Wind, breath, and voice are about where you want to end up, not about what happened or what facts you've assimilated to bolster your thoughts. Facts are mathematical things, quantities intended to persuade the thoughtless and the spiritless. Our direction is rooted to the imagined relationship between two or more beings from the beginning of the relationship to the end of their journey. The winds breathe life into our bodies. We share the winds and reflect their directional qualities. It is our breath, our spirit, and our heart that are articulated when we open our mouth. Where you are going with this is the question we all recognize. So, yeah, kind of heady stuff here, but I think it's important to think right now with the protests against police brutality and a general shift in people's attitudes towards authority right now. I think it's important to see how authority figures use facts and use them to make their laws and things when in fact there's other ways of looking. And we're entering into a technological zone here where facts may not become immutable anymore. If you look into deep fakes, there's a possibility that video evidence will not exist anymore because it'll be so easy to fake anyone you want into any situation. I think Maracle is kind of talking about something similar to that, where it's going to be subjectivity that points the way forward, essentially, and collective action rather than laws. It's pretty heady stuff. As you can see, I'm kind of trying to work through it myself here as I'm becoming familiar with this essay again. But I think it's really important to think about and look at different ways of perceiving the world in a time when things seem up in the air in a lot of ways and would be worked towards. So that's Memory Search by Lee Maracle. If you like having your brain expanded and letting you think about new ways of being and doing, I highly recommend checking it out. We are still selling print copies through alllitup.ca. So if you want a print version of this and you want to experience a nice Susan Point painting in person, you can go to alllitup.ca. There'll be a link to it on Twitter. But if you want an ebook version, just type it into your ebook reader. You can find it easily wherever you want. Should be fairly simple. All right, so thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow with episode 56 of NeWest Press Video.